So I was flipping through the channels earlier, and I stumbled on CNBC, and they had their usual format going, two idiots screaming at each other, pretending to know stuff they don't. And it hit me that nobody should watch CNBC. And I say that not because I personally dislike them, which I do, but because they were 100% wrong about the biggest economic incident which happened in modern times. Of course, I'm talking about the Great Recession. Everybody across the board, all the hosts, were like, "No, it's not true. There's not going to be a recession." I don't know what all the naysayers are talking about. Sour grapes. That's one of the things they say. Sour grapes. If you think the economy's going to go down, sour grapes. We're going to dismiss you and just say that. Well, I have a little clip here. This is a nice little throwback clip. This is Peter Schiff. He's a libertarian economist. I certainly don't agree with him on everything. But he was the one guy who went on CNBC and told them about the fucking housing bubble we were in. And look at their response.
Art Laffer, you hear him? He says the consumer's going to slow down in order to rebuild the savings. And you know that 2/3 of the American economy is driven by the consumer. Do you believe that?
No, I don't believe any of it whatsoever, Michelle. Excuse me. But, you know, what he's saying is that savings is way down in this country, but wealth has risen dramatically. The United States economy has never been better shape. There is no tax increase coming in the next couple of years. Monetary policy is spectacular. We have freer trade than ever before. And not only that, but there are no incomes policies things here. I think Peter's just totally off base, and I don't think it's going to be... I mean, I just don't know where he's getting his stuff.
Well, one of us is off base, but it's definitely not me. I mean, it's not wealth that's increased in the last few years. We haven't increased our productive capacity. All that's increased is the paper values of our stocks and real estate. But that's not real wealth, no more than the NASDAQ was wealth. When you see the stock market come down and the real estate bubble burst, all that phony wealth is going to evaporate. And all that's going to be left is all the debt that we accumulated to foreigners.
Peter, I'm going to take a bet with you on this one. I'll bet you a penny on this one that if you'll sign a letter saying that if you're wrong, you'll sign a letter that you were wrong to me in this, but you're just way off base. There is nothing out there that tells us we're going to have a nice slowdown, but it's not going to be a crash.
Let me ask you.
That was in 2006 or 2007. In 2008, we had the crash. Now, understand, man, again, I don't agree with this guy Peter Schiff on everything. He's a pure libertarian. He wants to eliminate the minimum wage and all types of stuff like that. But on this main point, that we were in a bubble, he was 100% right. And it was a recurring thing on CNBC where they would bring him on as the whipping boy. It wasn't even like him and like maybe one or two other people would back him up and it would be like a 50-50 debate or anything, which would still be misleading because it's not a 50-50 proposition. The facts are we were, you know, heading into a concrete wall and there was going to be a crash. So even 50-50 would be misleading. But it wasn't even that. It was like him and then there'd be a panel of like 4 or 5 other people. All of them, sometimes they literally laughed at him. Like, oh, yeah, okay. The fundamentals of the economy aren't right. We're in a bubble. No, the stock market's going to continue to go up forever and housing prices never fall, ever. They were 100% wrong. He was 100% right. But the main takeaway from this is not to heap praise on Peter Schiff and say he recognized that we were in an obvious bubble. Other people recognize it too. Bill Maher did a segment about it back in the day. But it's to say, hey, CNBC has no fucking clue what they're doing. They say, they advertise themselves as the financial network, the business network. We are the economic experts bringing you news and information and data about all the different companies and the stock market and this and that. And then what happened? None of them, I repeat myself, saw that the subprime mortgage crisis was coming and the Great Recession was coming. So let me get this straight. You have an entire network dedicated to economic news, financial news. There was an economic crash, a financial disaster that happened. None of your experts and analysts saw it. None of them. Why would anybody watch you? Why would anybody take you seriously? No, you failed the most basic test. You know, your job was to say, iceberg dead ahead. We're the economic analysts. We see we're in a bubble because we diagnosed the problem properly because we're supposed to be experts. So look out. But none of you did it. Why? Because none of you know what the fuck you're doing. Understand, guys, All CNBC is corporate propaganda. They had people saying buy Bear Stearns, buy Lehman Brothers right before they fucking collapsed, right before they crashed. They'd have the CEOs on of all these different corporations, all these companies, all these investment banks, and they'd say, "Oh no, we're doing great, man. Let me tell you, buy more of our stuff. We're doing wonderful. Let me promise you." And then immediately they'd crash. So what they really are is the corporate propaganda network, the Wall Street propaganda network. Everything is just put the CEOs on TV to spread all their bullshit and have the host be yes men and not be actual experts. And then when the shit hits the fan, they turn around and what do they say? Well, nobody could have saw this coming. That's wrong. That's wrong. Peter Schiff saw it coming, a libertarian economist. Other libertarians saw it coming. Other progressives saw it coming. Anybody who really has a basic understanding of economics saw it coming because they knew we were in a bubble. It was unsustainable growth. It was not real growth. So normal people saw it coming, some who aren't even fucking financial experts, but you didn't see it coming. It's not that they're super geniuses. It's that you guys are dumbasses, and it's not really about doing business news or financial news or economic news. It's about doing propaganda for the rich and the powerful.